So it's a great text. I love this text. I think I have preached on this text 6 or 7 times. And what's so cool about it is there are so many different angles, so many different things going on, lots of different ways to connect. And there's some real power there. This week, as I was sort of looking and praying and thinking about Matthew 14, it kept hitting me in different ways. I read commentaries and they say, no, that's not the right angle. This guy's wrong. This guy's wrong. And I got myself all confused about it. But it is a beautiful text of a lot of different powerful things all sort of coming together at once. It starts off in a scary moment. Jesus has fed the 5,000. Jesus has had this amazing situation there by the Sea of Galilee, and he says, disciples, you head on before me. You go before me, and I'll catch up with you. And right there, you sort of lose me. It's like, go on before you. That's not really the deal, Jesus. That's not really what we need to do. How am I going to go on before you? I'm going to follow you, but me getting out in front of you, I didn't sign up for that. I imagine they got in, put him in a boat, little boat. Imagine they got in the boat, they're like, we're going to text him right now. It's like, Jesus, we've been thinking about this. And we don't feel good about it. It's not cool, not a cool idea at all. We're not comfortable with it. He's tired. He goes off to sort of regroup, and he says, I'll meet up with you later. He puts them in a boat, and they're going to cross the Sea of Galilee. That is a massive body of water, 8 miles across, 13 miles long. I asked Mike at the early service, yes, the tour of the Holy Land will go on the Sea of Galilee. It is worth seeing. It is amazing. And you see it pretty quickly that this is a body of water that is powerful in its own way. The weather can change quickly. The winds can blow. Things can come together, and it's a problem. Some people don't like being on water. There are sort of 2 kinds of people in the world. Some folks really like getting out on the water and having a good time, and other folks aren't for it at all. They're not sure what to think about that big sea, that little boat. When I was the pastor of Wesley United Methodist on Marco Island, that church has 900 feet of seawall right there on the south side of Marco. And I had a little laser sailboat. I just throw it off of the seawall. I'm under one bridge and I'm in Roberts Bay out at Caxambas Pass. It was just beautiful. And I've always enjoyed sailing, little sailboats. I'm between yachts right now. But the best way to do it is to have a friend with the boat, right? So here's what I quickly learned was you bring someone out with you on the little sailboat and you can tell in about 10 minutes. They're into sailing or they are scared to death of sailing. And for me, there's no mild expression of sailing. We're going to sail. And they start white knuckling it. They start getting concerned. My wife, Gail, does not believe the sailboat should lean at any point in the boating experience. And you're not really sailing unless you're heeling over on the side, right? We sailors, we like to rub the rails, just get that rail on the gunnel wet. Let's go, we're going to move. And in a sailboat, if you're going 7 knots, you are screaming, right? It's just the relativity of that whole thing. So some of the disciples we know were used to being out on the water, but I bet some were not so sure about this whole let's get in the boat and cross the Sea of Galilee. Matthew the tax collector, is he a water guy or not? What do you think? No. Not? Probably not. So they're in the boat, not sure what to think. Jesus isn't there, and a storm comes up. That's the worst case scenario, right? A storm comes up, and it's a whopper. It's a big one. We don't want that. And that mast, it's like a lightning rod, am I right? So how are you going to get down in the cabin? They don't have a cabin. So it's a mess. It's a mess, and they don't know what to think or do. They're really worried about it. The storm gets worse. Have you ever noticed that the storms come at the worst time? The storm comes when you're not ready. You're not thinking, this is when I'd like the storm now. No, they come at a bad time. They come at the worst time. Lately, I don't know why, I get up in the morning, I think, we do not need another hurricane this year. And sorry I even said it. I shouldn't have said it out loud, should I? But sorry. But, last September, we got a lot of our brothers and sisters at least got walloped, and we don't need another one. But we don't get to decide when the storms come. They come. They come, and they challenge us. Those disciples are really afraid, fearful. They're not sure what to think. They're not sure what's going to happen next. Storms are tough. They look out, and there they see. The Bible says they thought, is that a ghost? Because we're about to die. Is that a ghost that is coming at us? And they wonder, they're not sure, maybe, hopefully, perhaps it's Jesus. And they call out to him, is it you, Lord? And what does he say to them? Fear not. Turn to the person next to you, say, fear not. Yeah. I like the way you said that. That was compassionate, It wasn't like just smacking them with it, Fear not. And I think that's how Jesus said it. I don't think he you bunch of scaredy cats. Don't be afraid of things. He's like, just calm down. Fear not. It's going to be okay. He's walking to them. He's coming to them in the storm. Now, when I send in, this is the lectionary reading for the day, but Mike says, should I set up like a little kiddie pool and you could walk across the water for the congregation? And I said, no, Mike, I don't think we'll do that, but that is what the preacher is reluctant to do. Explain how. How does Jesus do that? I guess I've given up myself on trying to wrestle with the how questions. They're not bad to ask. I mean, it's okay to wonder, but I think they're not the main point. How is Jesus walking across the water is not nearly as important as why is Jesus walking across the water. He wants to be there in the storms. He can tell, I need to be there. This is it. I want to help. And Peter, he sees this. He's like, whoa, this is exactly what we need. And I don't know if maybe he just wanted to get to Jesus sooner, or he wanted to say, hey, could I maybe have that kind of incredible power to do it? But he says, let me come to you. Jesus says, come. So Peter does it. He takes that first step. His boldness, his willingness to do that is quite remarkable. Then he does what most of us would do, what Beth brought up so well with the children's moment. He looks down and he starts thinking about, holy cow, what am I doing? I don't even understand what I'm doing, and I'm not so sure. And he begins to sink. We all do that. I call it I like the monkey bar metaphor. My metaphor is you climb up the ladder to the high dive. At Leesburg Youth Camp, there was always the high dive at the pool. And you go up on the high dive, and voluntarily, no one's forced you to go up there. I get up there on the top of the high dive, and I start looking around. I'm like, this is a whole lot higher than it felt like when I was down there. I think it's 30 feet, high dive. And me, I'm like, I think I'll turn around. Problem with turning around is there's a line of people behind you to also come up the high dive, and there'd be the humiliation of going back down, Okay, I couldn't do it. So I did it. Dive is not the right word. It's more like the high jump with my eyes closed. I have been in church situations where folks look down and say, I think we're gonna back out. I think that's it. We're not gonna do it. We'll go back down the ladder. Life will do that sometimes. We'll have that doubt, that second moment of realizing this is not quite as easy as I thought. Peter starts to sink. And he cries out to Jesus. He says, "Save me." That was the smartest thing Peter did, right? Jesus reaches out, brings him back into the boat. Now, many a time, my sermons have gone with that angle. Step out of the boat. Be bold. Be tenacious. Be risk-taking. Be willing to do something you don't even fully understand while you're doing it. Don't let that slow you down. Step out of the boat. That's a good sermon. It's okay. But I'm not sure that's exactly what's going on here. I think that's a piece of it. Peter was being Peter, right? He was bold. He was always willing to audaciously take the first step. So he does that and learns a new lesson about trusting Jesus. But the disciples in the boat, they're also learning, right? You don't have to take the step to get a new understanding of what that kind of faith and trust is all about. Jesus gets in the boat with Peter, and what does he say? "You of little faith." Again, I think that's a compassionate phrase. I don't think he's criticizing or judging. He's just appraising the situation. This is a faith thing, and we need more of it. How do you get more faith? Do you work on your faith muscle, more faith muscle reps? Do you somehow will yourself to this okay, I'm going to have more faith now. Faith's what I'm going to have. Do you journal about your faith? Do you do all these things, disciplines, whatever? Faith is also a gift from God. God gives us faith. We can't manufacture our own faith. By its very nature, it is a gracious gift that God gives us. And so when Jesus points it out, "You of little faith," to all the disciples, he's just reminding them of that great truth. Keep your eye on him. Trust him. Don't overthink it. Don't worry and doubt. Don't be fearful. Fear not. All of that comes together with that sense of you are doing the right thing when you follow me. Our faith grows in that beautiful way. The storms can help us have stronger faith. The challenges, the things we don't understand, and the steps we're not sure what to take next, all of those are actually opportunities for faith. And Jesus is there with us as we take those steps. So where are you in this story? What is it that you resonate with? Are you trembling in the tiny boat in the middle of the storm, wondering what's going to happen? Are you like Peter? You're willing to take that one step and kind of look foolish when it doesn't work out? Are you still on the lakeshore, not even in the boat? Lots of different ways in which we could see ourselves in this story. And I guess this is where I've come down on what's hitting me today. Wherever you are, Jesus meets you right where you are. Right where you are. In the story. With the situation as it's unfolding for you. Scary, perhaps, unknown, new things, storms abounding, he is there. He gets in the boat with you. And the storms quiet down, and the journey continues on. That's a powerful thing. We say, oh God, help me to keep my eyes on Jesus. That's where I need to be. Amen.